You don't have to be rich to retire and live like a king. Let's go through best 5 places where you can retire in Europe. It's Irena here from Millionaire Migrant, and I have my own dreams when it comes to retirement. Priorities do change when you obviously retire, but most people retire in the wrong country. Why? They chase low taxes, but they, for example, ignore the healthcare. They choose sunshine, but they end up lonely. And the biggest mistake is actually picking the wrong lifestyle. So with retirees, again, priorities change. Usually from my experience, a lot of our clients, the first thing that they're looking for is healthcare. So they want obviously something that is stable healthcare-wise. They want safety as well. They obviously want a lower cost of living. They want a nice climate. They want relaxed lifestyle. They don't want stress and bureaucracy. So obviously these are priorities for all of us, even right now. But for them, again, the priorities change a bit. For example, for me, I don't think that my number one priority would be healthcare at this age. But later on, when I retire, it's probably going to be my number one priority. So 5 countries where you can truly retire and live like royalty. In Europe, we ran the numbers. I visited personally all 5 of these countries, and we're going to talk about them today. Keep a note though. I know that most of us are chasing the tax-free lifestyle, but I also do know that sometimes tax-free countries do not really offer the lifestyle that you want. I'm a strong believer that you firstly look for a lifestyle and then after that, tax. Because lifestyle can be broad, there can be 10 countries that offer the lifestyle that you'd like, and there must be at least one of them that makes sense tax-wise. So when you do retire, however, even though your retirement comes from a foreign country, for example, US or Canada or Australia or whatever, your retirement can be taxed in a country where you live in as well, so where you relocate, not just in your home country. There are different rules on this, and mostly one thing that we look at when we choose a country that's best for you is actually the tax treaty. The tax treaty that your home country, where the retirement comes from, has with the country where you will relocate to. This doesn't mean that it's going to be zero, and we're going to see it right now through some of the examples. But again, we didn't focus on tax here. We focused on what is actually best for retirees. Country number 1, and this is no chronological order, we're just listing them, okay? But country number 1 would be Portugal. Why are we mentioning Portugal? I know we talk a lot about Portugal, but Portugal is indeed very affordable and it is relatively safe. It does have a very good healthcare, well, private one. Public one is still good, but in like every other country probably around the world, you have to wait for a long time for the appointment. You know, there are lines, the bureaucracy and others. So we always say, well, just go private and that's it. Anyways, you will need a health insurance that covers you while you stay in Portugal. But the lifestyle in Portugal is what gets me every time. And that is pretty laid back lifestyle. It's a surfing country. I've been there numbers of times, but one time was actually for the New Year's Eve. And we went on the coast and there were surfers in December. Coming from Serbia, number 1, we have no sea. Number 2, it's minus. I was stunned. I was like, oh my God, I want to live this life, right? But for me, one point about Portugal is the bureaucracy. It's the delays. It's the visa process. Yes, it is relatively very easy to get to Portugal. You have a lot of options. You have the D7 visa, you have the golden visa, you have the D2 visa. So it's very easy to actually get a visa in Portugal and to relocate there. But you are going to face a lot of delays. And we did talk about this as well in the separate video, so make sure to check it out. Apart from this, one thing that Portugal did very good in the past was their NHR program. After it got cancelled, unfortunately, retirees are also targeted with tax. So the tax at the moment is obviously currently progressive, which comes from, and the tax would be from 16% to 48%. It really depends. But this can as well be modified with the tax treaties depending on the country where you come from. Portugal does have the tax treaties with countries like the United States and Canada and others. But again, depending on where you come from, the tax treaty can be actually different. Moving on to the next country, which is my personal favorite from all the European ones, is Spain. I find Spain as perfect for retirees. I actually visited Spain with my grandma and my mom, and it was for Halloween day. We went into the market, and the workers in the market were all, had Halloween makeup on and costumes and stuff. And they were so relaxed. And my grandma was like, "Oh my God, can I take a picture with them?" And they're like, "Sure, yes, whatever." I know that it may sound silly, but in Serbia, if I would ask someone who works in the market if I can take a picture with them, because firstly, they would never have Halloween makeup on. And secondly, if I ask for a picture, you have no idea what kind of words I would hear from them. So my grandma was stunned and she was like, "I want to move there." My grandma doesn't speak English or Spanish. So of course, this is not an option. She would probably have to learn a language first, but this can be a very good option for people who either come from Spanish-speaking countries or who do come from English-speaking countries. Obviously, a lot of people in Spain speak English, especially younger generation, but also the older one. One good thing about Spain is that the cost of living is very low compared to the US or the UK, and healthcare is very good. Public one, again, same as Portugal. Yes, sure, there are longer waiting lines and everything else, but it's still on a very good level compared to some of the other countries out there. Obviously, it's sunny, it's warm throughout most of the year. It's, again, a very relaxed, very chill lifestyle. I would say, though, that if you don't have patience, maybe Spain is not a good country for you, because again, they're very chilled and very relaxed. And, if you start stressing out or anything, they're just like, calm down and chill, right? I don't have patience at this age of my life, but, when eventually I retire, I do think that Spain would be a good option for me. Another good thing is that there's a lot of expat communities that pretty much make settling in very easy. And traveling around Europe is very convenient as well, because Spain is very well connected. We talked about a long time ago about the protests with tourists in Barcelona specifically. Make sure to check it out if you'd like to. But Spain is still a relatively very good place to relocate to, especially cities like Valencia or Madrid and others. Spain is also very easy to relocate to. It does have a non-lucrative visa, which is very easy to apply for. And you do have to show around 36K per year on your account to qualify. And on another note, however, your retirement will be taxed in Spain, the same as in Portugal. So obviously, if Spain does have a tax treaty with your home country, there is a way to use the tax credit that you already paid in Spain to your home country, or vice versa. Again, depends on the tax treaty. Moving on to another country that we didn't find on a lot of the lists, but we do find that it's quite interesting. By the way, number 5 is going to shock most of you, but it was kind of intentional on why I put it there, just because I find it as a good option. But moving on to number 3, and that is Montenegro. The reason why we decided that this is as well that this deserves a place in top 5 countries is because of the engagement that we got from our clients, and mostly all of them ask about Montenegro. Montenegro, again, is getting a lot of interest recently. I do think the reason for it is because the Montenegro is probably the next country to join the EU from all the Balkan countries. And that is why all the people decide to maybe relocate there now, work towards citizenship, and then later on, they have an EU passport and Schengen area passport. Maybe it won't show Schengen immediately, but still. But Montenegro is a beautiful country, absolutely beautiful. It does have mountains, coastlines. It's just perfection, if you ask me. Living costs are pretty low, but pretty much the overall cost will depend as well on the location that you choose. One thing that I hate about Montenegro is that during summers, prices, oh my God, you can't believe how they charge very high. on summer. I know that that happens in all of the countries that do have, right, like the tourism boosts during the summers, like July, August or something. But Montenegro really crossed the game that even Montenegrins are mad because the prices are during summer are over the roof. Life in Montenegro is very slow. I hope I won't have Montenegrins getting mad at what I'm about to say, but in all Balkans, we do always joke about Montenegrins being the laziest nation in the world. It's like, okay, what do? They sleep, they rest, they eat, and stuff like that. And Montenegrins even joke about this for themselves. So it's a very, very slow country. They are as well very relaxed. There are times, though, that they are not. They want to get things done very quickly. When they do, they go and they rest. Montenegro is a very safe country generally. There were some incidents recently involved with Turkish and Afghanistan's citizens, but it still pretty much feels untouched compared to the crowded Europe. It is very easy to get residency in Montenegro, and for retirees, you can just show the proof of income and you can get residency there. The tax is pretty low. It starts at 9%, and that's usually the flat tax that you anyways pay, but it's pretty low to compare to some other countries. Now, time for my dream. Picture this. Crete Island and retirement there. You've grown your own vegetables, you've grown your own fruits, you have olive trees, olive oil, wine, everything. You have your own horses, donkeys, cows, everything. It's just perfection. Well, my dream aside, this is the fourth country, and it's Greece. Greece has perfect weather. The location depends. Depends on where you want to go. For me, Crete, for example, or Rhodes or anything like that is just perfection. Yes, there is high tourist seasons, and this is what a lot of people get angry about, but technically it's mostly June, July, August, maximum September. Outside of that, it's fine. Again, depends on where you go as well. Athens is always a touristic location, so there's a lot of tourists throughout the whole year, but everywhere else, not so much. It's very affordable as well compared to some of the Western countries in Western Europe. The food, housing, and dining out pretty much won't break the bank. Life moves very slowly as well, and it's a very chilled and relaxed lifestyle. We also have a joke that Greek people work from 9 to 12 and then from 3 to 5. Even though the working hours on Google says from 9 to 5, there is like 3 hours in between that they're on their lunch break. That's why it's my dream. Well, apart from that, Greece does have low crime rates and relatively fine healthcare. Athens obviously is a bit different. It's a capital. Again, it's a tourist city. It's crowded with tourists throughout the year, but I really love Athens as well. If you can kind of combine it with being in Athens maybe for winter, because islands can get lonely and bored during the winter, and then during summer you go to the islands, it can be perfect. One good thing about Greece is that as well you can get residency there pretty easily. You can either do a golden visa in Greece or you can do a financially independent person visa where you pretty much show your retirement income. And when it comes to tax, very good thing about Greece is that firstly, you have their tax regime where you pay 100,000 US dollars regardless of regardless of what your earnings outside of Greece. But the specific one for retirees is the 7% flat tax regime. So then technically you can pay 7% tax regardless. Before we move to another country and the final country, I would like to add one more. I will not talk about it, but it is also a dream of mine. That's why I have to mention it. That's Croatia. The reason why Croatia is not on this list is because it can be difficult to get residency in. So I said it. Moving on to a final country, and hear me out, please, before you judge. It's Bulgaria. Housing, food, services, everything is very much affordable, even in a capital, Sofia, or in other big cities like Plovdiv, for example. Even in smaller towns, it can go much cheaper, or if you go to the area by the Black Sea. Bulgaria does have mild winters, depending where you are at. It can be very cold as well. Or as well, you can go to mountain ski cold winters. But again, it's a country that has ski winter and mild winter, and it does have the seaside and mountains again. It is very small. Generally, the country is pretty small, and it doesn't have that many expat communities, but it is growing, mostly around, again, Sofia or Plovdiv or Varna and others. The good thing about Bulgaria is that it is pretty easy to get to. You do have a retirement visa there, and again, why Bulgaria, apart from, how cheap it is and generally pretty good lifestyle, it is why Bulgaria reached this list is because the retirement is generally exempt from tax. Not in all cases. There are certain requirements, obviously, but it is possible. Now, you will hear a lot. I can already imagine the comment section. Oh, why you didn't mention Italy? Or, oh, what do you think about Switzerland and others? So let me address that before we go there. Why not Italy? Bureaucracy in Italy is simply crazy. My very good friend of mine lives in Italy, and she can't travel back to her home country because her residency permit is always a year late, and she has to renew it on a yearly basis. So basically, she never has a residence permit with her. And because of that, she cannot go to her home country, which she can't even travel within Schengen area because they would consider it as she technically overstayed. If you ask me about Baltic countries, I love Baltic countries, but I don't consider them for a living, only for a specific type of people, but they do have harsh winters. If you ask me about Switzerland, super expensive. Ireland, weather I can't handle, and it is expensive, especially real estate wise. If you ask me about Austria or France, in my opinion, right now, it's a bit too unsafe to relocate there. I did say Croatia would hit the list if it's easy to get there. And another country that, if you ask me, would hit the list, that would be Slovenia as well. But again, same with Slovenia, it's a bit more difficult to get to. The pattern that obviously we see with the countries where retirees want to go to is the countries that, again, have a good healthcare, are very laid back, relaxed kind of lifestyle, and are kind of on the south of Europe. And again, that is that line: Portugal, Spain, Italy. We skipped that, but okay. Croatia, Montenegro, Greece, Bulgaria. That's pretty much that line that usually retirees ask for. The important thing is that choosing where to retire really means balancing out the finances, the healthcare, the lifestyle, and others. Millionaire Migrant helps with citizenship, residency, tax planning, and asset protection, investments, and many more. And we do also assist with a lot of retirees by pretty much picking out the country that would work best for them based on their priorities. So if you want to get in touch with us, let's have a chat, see if we can help out. Scan this QR code, and I'll see you on another side of the screen. Thanks for watching. See you soon.